Hi, welcome to the latest edition of How Did I Get Here? Today I have Veruca Salt's Louise Post talking about her influences and her debut solo album Sleepwalkers, which is in stores and your friendly neighborhood DSP today. She's also kicking off tour dates pretty soon. And most importantly, Veruca Salt's a band that made me very, very giddy as a young person. And it may come out that I was really nervous for this one. Uh, I don't know if that came off to her. Well, I guess she's going to know now if she listens to this. I hope she listens to this. But before we kick off the conversation, here's a little bit of Louise Post's first solo single and the first single off of Sleepwalker. Here's Guilty.
You cover it up, 'cause you're clever. You messed it all up, but whatever. She looks pretty hot in a sweater. She talks a whole lot about the weather. Guilty. You're so guilty. Guilty. You're so guilty.
In.
Hello, Louise. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Sorry, I had some my either my microphone or my speaker was working on my headset, not both.
I think Liz is waiting for, oh, here comes Liz. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, technology is fun.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you now.
Amazing. Perfect. Okay, glad we got that sorted.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, since we had some technical difficulties, I will let you guys get right into it. Louise does have a hard out at 2:30.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna turn my camera off, mute myself, and let you guys get to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Right. Hi, Louise. Nice to meet you.
Is it Danique?
Dakin.
Dakin. Sorry, I got
It's
that wrong.
okay. I can go by Danique if you want. I mean,
No, please.
it's not the weirdest botching of my name that I've gotten. So
Let's go by your real name.
Okay.
How's
perfect. So welcome to How Did I Get Here? I'm a little too excited to have you on. So
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
welcome. I'm almost nervous about trying to fit an entire career into 24 minutes now. So
I can't imagine why.
I mean, you've put out what, like 2 records?
Yeah, just two.
So I start and end all of these with the same question that I give to everybody else. I'm exceptionally curious about your answer to this, only because I've been following your work for a long time, and I really love the sound that you and Nina kind of created with Veruca Salt. So, what is the musical experience or record that made you decide that this is your life's work?
You mean the first record I ever heard that made me realize I wanted to be in a band and be a musician?
Yeah.
It would probably have to be Abbey Road.
Okay.
It's a really close tie with Rumors by
Okay.
Fleetwood.
But I hear that because Abbey Road has the harmonies and kind of one of the heavier Beatles records, but not quite.
Oh yeah. I mean, these are the records that when I was a little kid, I heard, and I would play over and over and over and stare at the pictures on the album cover. And just, they were from like a different planet Rock, and I aspired to be like them and to create that magic that was so intriguing to me, that between 4 people, of course it can always be more or less, but in this case 4, It seems like the magic number a lot of times. For me, it has been. And I always just loved it was so intrigued by and mesmerized by the chemistry, even in the photos on the album covers. Or interestingly, the lack thereof. Like if you look at the Beatles, Abbey Road, they're very much walking their own road, right? I mean, they're in step with each other, but they are very much separate. Whereas in Rumors and the pictures they chose, the band is fully interacting, and playing off of one another. So that's just something a distinction I just drew on as we're talking about this. But yeah, it was so, just a magnet. It was so magnetizing to me. And the music was what drew me in. And then it's like, who are these people? What is this? But in terms of making Veruca Salt itself, I think the bands that really kind of catapulted me into wanting to start a band, I mean, let's say the Velvet Underground in high school, and a lot of bands along the way, my God. Sinead O'Connor really blew my mind when I was in my early 20s. And the Pixies' Doolittle, like, really, changed things for me. It was like a giant change. And then came My Bloody Valentine, Loveless. And I was like, oh, I see. That's what I want to do.
I like that the progression got louder and louder as you listed records.
Yeah, and let's not forget like Led Zeppelin and the heavy rock bands along the way that made their way into my periphery, into my world, my heart. The hard rock was there. I grew up listening to it. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. It's a classic rock town. It's also like heavy R&B town. So I loved Prince and anything Prince related. And Prince was heavy as shit. I mean, Prince is as heavy as they come, just a different kind of heavy, and so I always loved heavy hard rock, but I didn't love pop metal. Like that wasn't my thing. But I went to big arena shows when I was young. Those were my big shows. So I saw the Tusk tour, Fleetwood Mac Tusk tour when I was 11. And I saw REO Speedwagon, and I saw Styx, really good songwriters. I saw the Cars when I was 12, and that was like my first proper show. The Cars, and that record, that might be one of the all-time just great records. It is. But yeah, I think when I saw the Cars play, and then in high school I saw the Go-Go's play, and I was in cover bands, and I covered Our Lips Are Sealed and Vanity 6 songs, and I was already on my way. I just hadn't written my own. I was writing my own songs actually, but just beginning to.
I love that Prince kind of came back at the very end right there with Vanity 6.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, Prince was always there. I mean, like my friends were going to see Circle Jerks and Black Flag, and I was going to see Prince, Controversy tour, and everything beyond that, up to a certain point. But everything he did for a period of years, he's one of the the greatest artists of our time. So, and it always boils down to the songs, right? Like strip away all the production and what do you have? And it's usually with someone like him or any of the artists we've mentioned, it's an incredible song that can be played acoustically, it can be sung a cappella, but I'm not saying that production and that Zeppelin would be Zeppelin without Jimmy Page, or John Paul Jones or John Bonham, but and it's, you know, or Robert Plant, but like it doesn't, if you distill the song down, it's a great song. And let's not forget Jimi Hendrix being a huge influence, and the Stones, and like all the bands that I grew up loving. David Bowie. Like I remember hearing Golden Years on the radio when I was a kid and just going, what is this? Oh my God. It was just the most incredible thing. And it remains like this timeless classic. Like it sounds like it could be from the 50s. Could be from, I guess it was the 60s or the 70s. I'm not even sure. One second, please. Yeah. Is he here with his parents?
No, he was just outside.
Oh, is he in our, let him in. Okay,
Prince is also outside.
that's fine. Yeah. Thanks.
That's okay. I have a cat busily trying to get into my room too. So
We have a neighbor dog named Buddy who loves our dog Prince, and sometimes he just comes over and just waits outside of our gate and wants to come in and play. And I think his owners don't know he's missing, so eventually somebody will come get it. But he really likes to come in the house. The problem is he'll scratch up my front door like crazy, which is probably about to happen. So all the wood gets scratched off. That's what my life is like.
I mean, you're at home with your family. That's kind of what happens.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna kind of jump ahead a few years now. So the history of Veruca Salt isn't really as well documented as I'd like it to be. So what came first? You meeting Nina and developing like and finding you have a rapport with somebody to write songs with, or moving to LA? What was the order of operations there?
Well, we met in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a Chicago band through and through.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have failed the listener there in research. But
we came out on the heels of the Smashing Pumpkins Gish and Liz Phair, Exile in Guyville. We were if I sound indignant, it's because like we are super proud of our Chicago roots. It was an incredibly vibrant, vital scene that was happening there at the time. That was so motivating. I mean, you talk about like what made you want to do what you did, and it's like, well, all the bands I saw at the time, like Jane's Addiction was a huge motivating force for me, not from Chicago, but when Nothing Shocking came out, like I didn't know what hit me. And I think that record is genius from start to finish. My husband and I have the long-standing Ritual versus Nothing Shocking debate, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you lose. Because Nothing Shocking is just, it is like, it's superior. But not that Ritual is bad, it's great, it's brilliant, but like I think it's what you hear first sometimes. At any rate, I'm right and he's wrong. But I went to go see them play at oh my God, I can't remember the name of the venue, the Aragon, and it was like unbelievable. It was like Beatlemania for me. Like I was down in the pit during Summertime Rolls. I scalped a ticket out front. And I remember thinking, like, if I die right now, it's okay. Except I was somehow like 2 feet off the ground, like swaying with the crowd, smashed in there.
which is such a beautiful feeling for like half the population, and such a terrible feeling for the other half.
Right. You mean in the actual?
Yeah, like in the thick of it, being like mushed up in a crowd and losing your balance and losing your connection to the actual floor because of the crowd.
Yeah.
I think it's the best feeling on earth, and yeah,
it's the only time that's ever happened to me. That was it was really incredible. But yeah, I was lost in the moment for sure. And I think that was the same place I saw Soundgarden and a bunch of other shows. But so yeah, the bands that were playing in Chicago at the time were so good, and Smashing Pumpkins were, I mean, I used to go to a cafe where there was a barista or a server who was very casual little place, and I brought my journal there and whatever I was doing and books I was reading, and I'd sit there. This was my cafe, right? And the person who'd wait on me or make my coffee her name was, well, she was this beautiful blonde woman, and there was this gorgeous, cool Asian guy who sat there with long hair, and they played checkers or chess or something, and he was always there and she was always there working, and I just thought they were like the hippest couple I'd ever seen. And then suddenly I saw them on the cover of the Illinois Entertainer one day, and I'm like, oh, they're in a band. That tracks. It was the Pumpkins. It was Gish, and I had never heard of them. So that record also just really motivated me and made me want to write and play music and be in a band. So I wouldn't say like I said like Abbey Road and Rumors when I was a kid, but like all of this stuff was in the air. It was really an exciting time for me and everyone I knew in music. There were the bands that we loved and I loved seeing play were Red Meat and this band, related to that was a band called Boy King I loved, and our friends were all in bands, Loud Lucy and Seam and Hum had just been, and Sunny Day Real Estate. All those records were made by this guy Brad Wood, and then the other producer that in town that everybody knew about, who doesn't refer to himself as a producer, was Steve Albini. So I went up to Steve Albini on the street on Division one day, and said one night after a show, I think, and just said, "Hi, here's my demo. This is my band. Would you think about recording us?" And so he was the first person I went to, and I never followed up with him. And Brad Wood, we met, and he had kind of a deal with our little indie label we were on. So we were just going to do like a 7-inch with him, but it turned into a full length, and that was American Thighs. But I also saw at this time, I saw L7 play just before I started Veruca Salt with Nina. I saw L7 at the Avalon in Chicago. It's this tiny club. I saw Tribe Called Quest there, and Triple Fast Action, and like a lot of bands that I loved. And L7 was incredible. I mean, I'd never seen anything like it. And they led me to want to start an all-female band. And that's what Nina and I we set out to do originally. And it just wasn't going in that direction. And we met Steve, our bass player, and then our drummer, Jim, Nina's brother, said, "Well, I'm not really a drummer, but I'll come and hit with you guys one night." And I asked him if he would get a kit that night because he was so perfect for us. And he brought like the Bonham to the party. He filled it out, and I was so excited. So yeah, those were that was what it felt like at Chicago at that time.
Yeah, I love that he just learned how to play drum, like he was learning how to play drums in the band, and he was your Bonham, which is probably makes him a better drummer than John Bonham then.
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
I'd say that he is a really smart drummer, and that he has his own feel that is uniquely Jim. And I think he's a great drummer. There's nobody like him. He was perfect for us, and he's also an incredible instrumentalist in his own right in other ways, bass player, pianist, guitar player, singer, songwriter. And he really wasn't looking to be in his little sister's band with her annoying friend. And that's kind of what happened. And it was magic. It was just, there was a great chemistry between us. So I would never say that anyone was a better drummer than John Bonham, but Jim was great.
So I looked at the time and I realized I have to rush through a lot of things.
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip the Veruca Salt main career, where except I do have one question about that, and you can answer it as quickly as you wish. Is there truth to the rumor that Everlong is about you?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, that's so. And this is silly, but how does it feel to the like probably the biggest power ballad of the late alternative rock era is about you? Like, is it what's it like when you hear that song on the radio and everywhere still?
It's still like weird. It's still surreal. And the first time that my ex played that for me, it was in a demo version, and we both cried. It was very personal. So, and then I sang on it and was a part of its creation, and my voice is still on it. So it's weird. It's like it was a very personal thing, a very personal moment that went out to the world and then became everyone else's. It's like my own song went out to the world, but it wasn't mine, although it felt like mine. And then I had to let it go as I did the relationship. So it wasn't like I used to like ask cab drivers to turn it off, like I really don't care to hear this right now, like after we had broken up. And all these years later, it's just still kind of weird. I don't know. It's I guess that's all I really can say about it. I mean, it is what it is. It's just kind of it always feels like I can't turn it off fast enough.
Yeah. So another another much lighter celebrity reference to kind of speed us into the now. Um, Actually, before that, so you have a solo record coming out very soon, which is bloody fantastic and makes my heart feel just warm and fuzzy. Even though I've only actually gotten to listen to about half of it so far, but yeah, I just your guitar tone's magnificent. But uh,
Thank you.
is that is there any different mindset between doing the solo record now and the Veruca Salt period, where it was just where you were the leader of Veruca Salt, wasn't Nina wasn't there?
Is there any, I'm sorry, what was the question? Is there any different
What,
mindset?
yeah, was there a difference in process? Like, did you come at those two different things, the solo record in the same way you did the Veruca Salt records that were kind of kind of almost solo records?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in an entirely different place now. I was concerned with different things. I was I was in a place of, um, I'm not saying this is all gone and that I'm perfectly virtuous and void of this now. I struggle with being like a victim, feeling like a victim of things, and have to own up to my part in things quite a bit, on a regular basis. Like we're all creating our own realities, and I am participating in the things that occur in my life. So the good and the difficult, right? So I like to I actually feel like I'm an entirely different person. I was screaming at the world and at the injustices, and I was heartbroken, I'm not saying that there's no heartbreak on Sleepwalker. There definitely is. It's a different kind. And I've clearly, and to me, I've really come a long way and grown up a lot since those records. And I love those records. They're my babies, But one of the main things is that I'm not, and I'll tell you, this is like the most liberating thing that I can imagine, is that I'm not trying to make a Veruca Salt record. I'm not trying to stay true to a sound, to a brand, to a name that I've built. It's just me. And that has been a wonderful experience, just allowing that to unfold, and it's incredibly liberating and fun, and meaningful. And I didn't really have that as much before. Those songs are deeply personal to me. The Veruca Salt songs that I made without the original lineup, those albums, but they were, I was in a really different place in my life, and in both of those, really. I mean, we do grow, and they were years apart, and so there was a lot of growth between those two, with an EP in between. But while those were sort of, those were intensely collaborative, although also deeply personal and subjective, because I made them. I was desperate for collaboration because I was leaving a situation that had been so collaborative. So I was sort of searching for my other Nina, right? And I was never finding it. And it was always so frustrating. And I felt like people would let me down all the time. And so again, like creating that climate of like being victimized, being disappointed in people. I wanted so desperately to like establish the definitive lineup, second lineup of Veruca Salt. And that was my goal. And, the universe was saying, this isn't going to happen for you. Like, you're doing this on your own. Get okay with that, or throw in the towel. And ultimately I did, because I didn't feel like, it was like an uphill fight for me at the end of touring on 4. And I thought, I want to do something else right now. I just drifted away, really, even though I loved it when we were writing songs, and I loved my band. I had an incredible band, and they were really in it, like really in it. And I loved playing with them, loved writing with them. We were working on a next record, and I wanted to make a baby, not a record at the time. So that's what happened there. And now, of course, the band got back together, the original lineup, and that was heaven on earth. It was really, really, really wonderful and important. And in this chapter, it's also equally wonderful and important to be discovering what I am on my own as a solo artist. And there's still collaboration on this record. I worked with my producer, Matt Drenick, a lot, and Robin Holden, who played drums and other instruments, and ran the board for much of the album on Sleepwalker, was highly, a big participator on the record. And another guy named Ignacio was there and worked really hard on it. And there were people participating, but it wasn't a band. And it was all my sentiment, and the songwriting was, well, as it has been, but it was purely mine. And I was ready to go in a slightly different direction. Just, I've changed, and it just felt like the right move.
That's lovely. It's after 2:30.
I just have to say, I didn't want to, interrupt you in. Oh, I've turned my camera back on. I didn't want to interrupt you in the middle of your thought, but it's 2:30, so we're gonna have to wrap up. But if you, Dakin, if you need anything else, like any, press photos or materials or anything, or, have any like additional questions or anything, please shoot me an email and I will be happy to help.
Okay, perfect. Well, I have what I need for the podcast. I think I didn't get to do my closing question, so you lucked out there. People hate it, so.
Well, if you want to email me, please do.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on. I will see you in June when you come to this town.
Where are you?
I'm in Oakland, so basically San Francisco.
Oh, great. Well, I hope I get to meet you in person.
I will try to make that actually happen.
Okay.
Because we could go. I think we could talk for a whole other hour. So
I know. I think so. Well, thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you for taking the time out and being patient.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.